Hi there! LEGO and Klutz has finally come together and made the Crazy Action Contraptions, 16 never-before-seen high-performance projects. Yes, I've been waiting for this for a long time, and this is basically a book with lots of LEGO Technic gears and whatever you'd like to use. So, there are a lot of things here, 16 crazy contraptions as advertised, and it's quite interesting. You can make lots of different models, you can see exactly what pieces you get, and of course, lots and lots of instructions. So, let's just get this open and go through the world's quickest unboxing. I like spiral bound, especially when it doesn't work against me. Now, only places we've got tape is right here. I can't tell if this is being cut or not. Okay. That's one. That's two. And the rest should be easy as pie. There we go. Pull this out. And we have a nice little tray here for LEGO stuff. But that's not where they should be. What an assortment of pieces. Let's do a quick run through. You have some of these humongous teeth and gears, of course. Two gears, large gears. I believe they're 40 teeth each. You have these medium-sized gears, some even smaller gears. Lots of special bricks with Technic pieces in there. It looks very interesting on the bottom. You have some plates with holes in them. More of these sort of things. You have rubber bands of various sizes. A wheel, a very interesting version of a wheel. So in the book, as I've seen, normally these ones were supposed to be dark gray, but of course colors may vary. We have O-rings, which are kind of like rubber bands, but they're much tougher. A crank, I've never known these things existed. What else? Of course, we have some axles, more wheels. In fact, this is where the O-rings go. No, not really. It's the other wheels, these ones. You can fit this around. Some other smaller plates and connectors and bushings. And yeah, so I'm just gonna do a quick run through and show every single project. Jump cut. This is the Beaker Blender 3000. As you can see, it has a very small box of gears, if you can call the box. And if you spin this crank, this gear moves slowly while the other ones move progressively faster, thus making a really fast fan here that the frame rate makes it look all strange and whirly-giggy. Go fast enough and looks like you have floating pieces. That's interesting. But of course, this is the Beaker Blender 3000. So I really need something to blend. Now this is probably the most dangerous thing I've done on this set. Bring a good clear glass of water on a cheaply made piece of cardboard. Let's hope this does not make a mess. And as you can see, it's forming a really nice hurricane of water there. Now that's just awesome. So I think one day I'll bring this back. Let me just move this in the center and see if you can appreciate this. That's quite amazing. This is basically half of a kind of thing here. So let's just jump cut to the next model after I dry out this Lego. This is the Annoy-O-Matic. As you can see, it has a very few number of bricks. You have a really long axle connected to a 40-tooth gear, and you have this Technic brick, which is spring-loaded to stay, I guess, attached to this brick here, this gear here. And the point is, let me just move this up here. Just as the name implies, annoy. So as you move the gear around, this keeps clicking into the different teeth spaces, if you will. Wow. So let's move into the next one. This is the No Donkey Donkey cart. As you can see, it's also made out of very few pieces, and it shouldn't be that hard to make. You could replace these giant gears with some other wheel. But yes, there is a long rubber band inside connected to this long axle, and with a few rotations you can store some elastic energy into it. Let's get a few more twists here. You could really see that rubber band deforming and twisting. And let's see how this goes. It likes turning right. Where was this technology when we needed donkeys? Alright, let's get to the next model. This is the Squeezeclaw Grabber. As you can see, it is a very, very springy looking thing, and it has a lot of Technic bricks. Now, as you can see, it has a lot of hinges. In fact, it uses most of them. And an interesting thing to note is that there's a difference between these gray and black axles here, or shall I say hinges. These parts have less friction in between them, between these ones, which keeps it stuck at certain positions that you put it. There's some handles here, and if you squeeze these together, they extend, and they contract when you pull them apart. As you can see, it extends the entire arm and it bites down with these two kind of gripping things. So let's try this out with something I'll randomly assemble here. A gear and axle. Let's place that there and see what happens. It extends. And I got it! But sadly, the size is too small. Okay, there we go. So we have it. Sadly, you can't take it with you. As soon as you try to contract it again, it lets go. So this is the grabber, not the taker, sadly. But that is very interesting. Now let's see how much it actually extends. So let's lift this up a bit. Now it's a bit harder to get it to extend against gravity, but you can see it has quite the distance that it can go. And that sound, of course, is me hitting my cheap background here. Blue sky. Not really blue sky. But yeah, that was the Squeezeclaw Grabber. Let's go to the next model. This is the Lego launcher, and it's a quite quick build. Now this is actually very generic, and it can actually be made in pretty much any other form. The only thing that you need is a sturdy base and 3 studs that are free, and you have an overhang for an edge. Sorry, you need an edge that will be able to be overhung. In short, this is the only thing that you really need. And also you need some 1x4s, as you can see. So basically, you get another plate, and press down on the edge beside the stud there of the 1x4, press down sharply, and it launches the Lego piece. Now let's try to zoom out and expose the backdrop once again. Once again, I haven't done it yet, have I? And of course the extra bits are for ammo. And let's see what happens when you launch them. Not very energetic. So I've done this actually quite a few times, so the sticking power of the Lego pieces are starting to wear down, or so I think. But that was basically the Lego launcher. Perhaps one more shot and we'll get to the next model. Alrighty, next model. This is the wall rocket racer. Now, just like the other model I did, I have to expose again the wall. Now, as you can see, there is actually 2 rubber bands, one over there, one over there. You push that there, and then the rubber band does the rest of the work. So, 1. I broke it. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3. Wow, that was quick. Alright, next model. This is the Battle Top Spinner. Now this is one of my favorite ones, my favorite models. And as you can see, there are many gears. So you have a gearbox here, you have another one on top. You have this bit that rotates as well. And of course, a rubber band. So as you can see, when you rotate this turns much faster due to the gear ratios inside here. And when you rotate, you actually start twisting the rubber band around this axle. You store a lot of energy there. So if you connect this kind of spinning top right here, it meshes with the medium gear. And when you rotate it around like this, you get this top to spin very quickly. Then again, it's not a top, it's not spinning on anything. So that's why we have this quick release system. You just hit that and it pops right off. Now the only thing I need to do is of course to remove it like so. So this is a 3-step process that has to happen really quickly just to release it. Step 1 for the 4-step thing, rotate this a bit. Step 2, 3, and 4, let's see. Let go of this quickly. And then you hit that to release this, then slide this out of the way really quickly. So, ready? That was awesome, but it was off camera. So, let's do this again. Now this is a really tricky job here. There we go. And that's the Battle Top Spinner. And it just spins away. Let's go for one more. Then we'll move on to the next model. Alright, maybe one bonus one since that one did not work out. There we go. And it spins away again. You get quite the amount of... You get quite the fast spins when you do this. There we go. Alright, next model. Wait a tick. One more. Let's get another view of this thing. This is the Supercharged Speedster. Now this is a really cool car here. As you can see, there are a bunch of gears that is used, and you have some, here, let me fix that here. You have a rubber band which is actually really trickily wrapped around some axles here, and there's this crank here. So you can see how one small turn will get this to spin a lot, so you can really supercharge this, because when you rotate the crank, it wraps around the rubber band, that is, the axle. It wraps around a lot, in fact. Now the problem is, you have to make sure you wrap it around the right way, or else you're going to end up with the car going the other way that you expect. So, let's see what happens. First I'll do a few winds. Hopefully not too much, that it will snap. Okay. Ready? Set. Now I'm sure that would have accelerated more in a larger area, but in this case I think this is enough. And already it's dying in speed. And that's a Supercharged Speedster. Alright, time for the next model. Now these pile of bricks are for an idea of board games. So first let me assemble this. Alright, so first we have brick-tac-toe, which is basically tic-tac-toe, using these Technic bricks and pegs. So there are two types here. You have O's and you have X's, as you can see on there. And basically, you just play tic-tac-toe. One player is X's and the other ones are O's. And you take turns placing the pegs in, like that, until someone makes a 3 in a row, literally, of one kind. So you can have O's or X's, 3 in a row, horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. And of course the player who does that first wins. Another game we could play, let me assemble this. Is solitaire. So this is, the official name for this is connector peg solitaire, where the goal is that you can only move pegs orthogonally, that is, horizontally or vertically, and it has to jump over exactly one peg and land in a hole. So this would be one allowable move. And after doing that, you just remove the peg that you jumped over. It's a bit tricky. And you just keep doing that until you end up with only one peg, and preferably in the same spot where the gap was to begin with. That would be a perfect game. I won't do this one. But let's take this apart and go to the final model in the board games genre. Finally, this is the Lego dice. Now, this is a very special dice and a very unique idea in my perspective. Instead of counting the number of holes or something on it, you can try doing that. The way you use this is you insert 6 pegs into this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you drop it about 1 foot from the ground. Of course, you have to shake this first and see how much pegs fall out. It could be 1, 2, and it's very unlikely, but you could end up with 6. Hopefully the inertia nudges more out. Of course, I don't want to damage the bricks, and I don't want to damage the floor, so I'm not going to do it at all. Alright, I'm joking. I am doing it. Let me move these pegs out of the way. But we must move to a very special backdrop. Okay, have my little Lego dice here. Gonna shake it and drop it from a foot above. And nothing comes out. So this is fairly hard to get working. One came out. Only one. So if you play a board game, this would take a millennia to finish. If you shake the whole thing, nothing. Nothing again. Well, let's see. All 6 came out on the side here. But that required me to shake the entire dice, and some came out prematurely. Some of the pegs came out prematurely. So I wouldn't recommend using this as a regular board game dice. But there is one game you can play that Lego called Gettin' Greedy. Basically, you keep shaking this, and you keep tallying your score. So on your turn, you count how many pegs fall out, and you can keep that and add it to your score. Or you can keep shaking and add more and more to that sort of balance there. And you can keep rolling as much as you want on your turn until you reach 0. If you ever reach 0, you cannot add anything to your score and your turn is over. But you can stop anytime, sort of like other game shows. You could stop anytime and just keep whatever score you have and permanently add it to your score. So that's one game. Just make sure that you don't go too far, and you just make sure a peg falls out. It's really hard. Yeah. Anyway. Alright, next model. This is the Art-A-Maton. As you can see, it has a few gears involved and a bunch of bricks and pieces with a lot of linkages. Now it's a bit strange. You can see how random it appears to be, and when you rotate it, it does a little snaky move. So on its own, it looks like a great art piece, as you can see. But this is an Art-A-Maton, and of course we love functionality. So, what are these 2 extra rubber bands for, and why are there random Technic pieces stuck in it? Well, of course we need a pen, and we'll do some drawing. So let me just grab this sheet of paper here, and let me get this set up. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the pen attached, and I positioned this carefully so that the pen would not ever reach the boundary of the paper and then write on my nice little backdrop here. So, without further ado, let's show how this works. Now, right now I haven't retracted the pen, but once I do so, you just rotate this back and forth, and you can see how the pen will randomly move around. Now, let me move this a bit. It does require some adjusting and tensioning, but once you get the pen and everything the right dimensions and set up correctly, you should have a really good time making this. Anyway, let's jump into a time lapse and see what we can make. Alright, this is what a few minutes did to the paper, and as you can see, it is a very biased machine. Wow, it just breaks apart here in your hands. I wish other things did that. Anyway, as you can see, the pen was very biased, and it favored this side of the machine rather than the left side. And there's a very uneven amount of work here. As you can see, it's very nice here, and then started for some reason going here. My one guess is that the pen was leaning on one side, and that this arm itself was not very even or balanced. So maybe that's why it had a bias towards the right side because of the extra weight. And also the pen might have been at an angle, at a bit of an angle, because of the rubber bands being placed in the weird way to hold it in place. But we'll never know. But yeah, this has been the Art-A-Maton that can't keep itself together. Let's just remove the pen. And I think if you had more bricks and you could redesign how this looked like, you could make a really nice looking worm or creature here. Or you can make your own version. So that's amazing. This could be a cobra head or something. But anyway, as it is, this was the Art-A-Maton. Alright, next model. These are the Zipline Runners. Now, this is actually 3 different models, and this general idea can be applied in an infinite number of ways. Basically, you have a wheel, some weights, and that lets it roll down a zip line. Now, we're not going to an actual zip line, we're just gonna make one at home, made with thread, in fact. But let's try it in another special way. Now, the first one here is hook, line, and zipper for some reason. But let's try this. Alright, that was cool. Now let's try the travel size gondola, which has a nice little area here for nobody. Now if this was an actual gondola, that would be amazing. So, let's see what it looks like. Alright, not too bad. Now, the final one, the Zipline Cargo Runner, is actually missing a piece, a 2x4. This set only comes with 2 of those, so I'm gonna have to destroy the travel size gondola. Add a little floor over here. And let's make a nice little thing here. Nice little connectors for someone who's missing some. And I should angle this 45 degrees. There we go. Alright. Alright. Let's go try this one. The Zipline Cargo Runner. Now that delivered its cargo. Alright, let's jump to the final model. This is the Tennessee Time Killer. Now, as you can see, this uses a lot of elements from the different models. There is a sort of gearbox there. You have a rubber band for storing electricity, not electricity, energy. You have a weight here. You have even floss. It comes with pretty much everything, including the kitchen cabinet. Yes, and the sink too. Now, the way you set this up is you remove this very long axle here, and just rotate this around many times. And as you can see, because of the gearing, this part rotates very slowly, and it rotates or wraps the rubber band around very, very slowly. So let's see how far I can get before I snap the band. No, I should probably stop before that. Okay, I think that's long enough. So what you do is you reinsert the axle, and let's see what happens. Alright, it'll be hard to keep this still. But as you can see, the block of 1x2s rotates around. It's rotated by the arm. And when it hits a super long axle, it wraps around. The floss wraps around the axle because of the weight and its inertia. And it unwraps again, and then it continues going around and around. Just because of that elastic, this happens. So anyway, this has been the end of the video. And overall, I think I really like this kit. If not for some of the simple models there. I like some of the non-simple ones. And the blocks are very sturdy, and it feels like it might be Lego from a different age, because the friction between them, or what keeps them together, feels slightly different from the Lego I get now. So I think Lego's changed some of their models a bit and re-updated. But the instructions are very nice in the book. There are only a few mistakes or imperfections there. And overall, I think this set's interesting. Perhaps two things I'd like to note is that the difference between these two axles, or connectors, is that even though they look very similar, if you look closely, you could see that this is very smooth here, but over here you might notice some of these extra bits here. So those are actually adding to the friction of the connectors. So because of that, this sticks in place no matter how much you turn it, and this likes to rotate around a lot. Also, this set does come with some tips on how to disassemble different types of Lego pieces, like plates, 1x4 plates especially. But I prefer to use my Lego brick remover. Now, this is not an advertisement, it's just a really useful tool. And aside from that, I'm really glad I got the set, not because of the price, which was about more than $23 in Canada, Canadian dollars, but I like it for its pieces. Now, as you can see, it's dead now, so as always, thanks for watching. Wow, I think it heard me. It's speeding up now. One thing you might want to note is that there's an interesting transference of motion. Depending on which way the block was rocking, the arm picks up speed or decreases in speed. And now it's completely dead. Alright, thanks for watching. This has been the LEGO and Klutz Crazy Action Contraptions